Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. If you look around the world, it's filled with magnificent views. To spice things up, nature sometimes requires humans to take up hiking trails to reach those remote places. Here is a list of 10 most dangerous hiking trails in the world. Stick around till the end to see the highest wooden trail ever. Number 10. El Caminito del Rey. We start the list with an easy contender for the most dangerous hike in the world. You would think that a hiking trail that shares its name with our beloved singer Lana Del Rey would be anything but dangerous. But the case is the opposite here. El Caminito del Rey, translating to the King's Little Pathway, started out as a series of walkways through the El Chorro Gorge for employees of a nearby hydroelectric plant over 100 years ago. Years of neglect, however, have turned these 3-foot-wide paths into crumbling concrete, barely supported by rusty beams. Though safety wire runs the length of the 2-mile trail, it is anything but safe. If you go, prepare to cross 10-foot-wide gaps in the walkway and test your balance on single beams standing out 350 feet above the El Chorro River. You won't need much gear for this hike, but rock climbing skills are definitely essential. The Spanish government has plans to renovate the trail in the future to make it safer and more accessible to casual hikers. If that happens, this trail would be exempted from our list, because who even wants to hike an easy trail, right? We are kidding. Number 9. HUAYNA PICCHU, Peru. HUAYNA PICCHU is the impressive mountain behind the near-mythical Machu Picchu in Peru. Millions of people come to visit it each year, but only the most experienced hikers get to see the full beauty of Machu Picchu from above. HUAYNA PICCHU is often named one of the most dangerous hikes on this planet. The mountain is considered of moderate difficulty, but it is the fact that its paths are built between the walls of the mountain and the cliffs hundreds of meters above the mighty Urubamba River, which makes some people really scared for their lives. The trek through the HUAYNA PICCHU begins inside the Inca city of Machu Picchu. The climb is very interesting. The views from the trails and the stairs of death are breathtaking, and the fog at the top is one of the most amazing shows you can have in life. Those who overcome their fears and manage to reach the top of the HUAYNA PICCHU often experience a mixture of feelings that in some cases end up completely changing the way you see the lives of some people. Number 8. Angel's Landing, Utah. Known as one of the hardest trails in the world, this wickedly narrow trail is not for the fearful. Angel's Landing is a short hike that attracts a lot of people. So much sometimes that the number of hikers can lead to traffic jams at the upper point. Though the 5-mile path is well maintained and even paved in places, the last half-mile ascends over 1,400 feet along a slippery spine of sandstone that drops off hundreds of feet on either side. During the final ascent is a steep stone staircase. The path is just wide enough for one person, and if a hiker decides to take over, they'll be pushed over the edge. Several people have fallen to their deaths trying to reach the formation's 5,700-foot peak in the past decade alone. One seasoned hiker said, "It scared the hell out of me." So, hike at your own risk. Number 7. Via Ferrata, Italy and Austria. At the 7th spot, we have Via Ferrata, which translates to Iron Way. It was first scaled with ladders by the Europeans in the 15th century. The route was later used during World War I by specialized troops. Today, the route is much more accessible thanks to new steel cables, ropes, wooden walkways, and suspension bridges. Even with all the safety gear around you, you can't possibly feel safe in this trail. The thing is, even though routes and cables are well maintained, your life depends on safety hinges snapping into a specialized carabiner setup called a ferrata set. The dangerous parts of the hike include the rock faces and the tall ledges that you have to scale to complete the hike. One wrong step or turn can be fatal on this trail. Deaths have occurred here under various circumstances. In 2009, one British woman plunged to her death on an intermediate hike after slipping on snow and falling 600 feet. Another death in Austria happened because of gear failure. But experienced hikers have passed this trail even on a bike. Number 6. Half Dome, California, In the Yosemite National Park, which is full of challenging hikes, Half Dome is undoubtedly the toughest one. But did that ever stop humans from risking their lives just for the thrill? Never. The 14.5-mile Mist Trail is one of the most popular among American hikers, as 3,000 hikers escape the trail unscathed every day in the summer. But there are a few tricky spots that could leave you seriously injured if you're unprepared. According to a Yosemite hiking website, more than 60 people have died on Half Dome and the trail leading up to it. During the hike, you'll ascend over 4,500 feet to nearly 9,000 feet above sea level. The last 400 feet to the summit requires using a vertical cable trail to scale the dome's slippery face. In addition, the peak frequently hosts thunderstorms. A lot of hikers have died from lightning strikes as they fall down. The only thing more electrifying than the weather is the scenery from the top. So, are you ready for it? Number 5. The Maze, Utah. Do you remember infamous James Franco's movie 127 Hours? You can visit the same place too, but we don't guarantee that you will return with both hands unharmed. Located in the Canyonlands National Park, the Red Rock Labyrinth known as the Maze receives around 2,000 visitors per year. It receives fewer visitors, not because it isn't worth visiting, but because it is difficult to reach, almost impossible to navigate, and is full of dead ends. It's very prone to flash floods and dangerous rockfalls. The danger cannot be overemphasized, and visitors must use extreme caution and communication. It always presents the danger of rockfalls or deadly flash floods. The sheer danger of the place has kept fatalities in the area to 0. Deaths and accidents in the rest of Canyonlands, however, are a regular occurrence and show just how deadly the maze would be if anyone could get there. Number 4. KALAVANTIN DURG, India. The world's most famous fortress, KALAVANTIN DURG, is not for the faint-hearted. Used as a watchtower in the olden days, it stands 2,300 feet above sea level on the northern edge of the Prabal Plateau near Mumbai. To get to this fortress, you have to take a one-day trek, which is a bit challenging with narrow steps, steep slopes, and no support. This trail is a bit tricky to navigate due to the rock cut-ups and steep slope. However, the difficulty level is medium, requiring basic physical endurance. The KALAVANTIN DURG trail becomes tougher to tread through during the monsoon as the steps become slippery. Once you climb to the top, however, you're greeted with ethereal, panoramic views. Number 3. Cascade Saddle, New Zealand. If you want all those Lord of the Rings views, you have to travel to Mount Aspiring National Park on New Zealand's South Island. But you might want to skip the route to the Cascade Saddle, an 11-mile, 2-day trip through beech forest and alpine meadows. Who are we kidding? Half of the experience is of that trek. But despite the amazing views, at least 12 people have lost their lives in the saddle, mainly from falls while descending when the rock was wet and slippery. A German trekker fell to his death in July 2013, prompting the local coroner to demand that officials either close the path or re-engineer it to make it safer. And with that, it's now time for today's subscriber pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber. If you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it on a future video. Number 2. Mount HUASHAN, China. Probably the most insane hiking experience invented by man, the trail up China's stunning Mount Hua will have you inching across narrow wooden planks thousands of feet in the air. An error here will most likely be your last one, as there are no nets or guardrails to catch you if you slip. Hikers climb creaking ladders, cling to wobbly cables, and encounter staircases. All of this is enough to make even seasoned mountaineers dizzy with dread. Even worse, it's mostly a two-way trail, meaning you'll have to squeeze past hikers coming down from the top. Add in the occasional spell of snow or strong gust of wind, and you'll be lucky to escape with your life, let alone clean underpants. Surprisingly, tackling this hike requires little gear. Chinese college students regularly undertake the challenge in t-shirts and sneakers, and you can reach the summit and return in less than a day. Number 1. DRAKENSBERG Traverse, South Africa. 2 words: chain ladders. You'll have to scale these, so this traverse is not for the faint of heart. The DRAKENSBERG Traverse is the definitive South African hike, and one of the best in the world in our opinion. It is a formidable experience for the bold hiker. Your physical strength and endurance will be tested, while the ability to navigate, mental strength, proper planning, and teamwork are all essential elements of completing this monstrosity. But once you are on it, you will see some amazing views from the cliffs that surround the Kingdom of Lesotho. This is also one of the longest hiking trails in the world, so make sure to accompany a team or at least a friend. Which one of these would you like to go on first? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.